Hey, we're back. The hospitality room presented by Mascot Media is back. Bobby Swofford live from the beach. This is how technology works.
Yeah, I decided not to stroll up and down the beach. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna set up the laptop today, but I am about 125 yards away from the Atlantic Ocean. It's not living the rough life this week.
Nice. Now, please tell me you're not wearing Bermuda shorts and walking around with the metal detector.
I am not, even though I think that would be a really fun thing to do if I was like 85 years old and had nothing else to do. I am not doing that. Usually, the only thing I'm carrying around is a Yeti cup with some kind of substance in it.
Nice. Very nice. And that's the way
Yeah.
it should be. Indeed. Well, gee, what do we talk about today? I don't know, but let's get right to it. Arkansas baseball. It's a rite of
Hmm.
June. They're in Omaha finally. Of course,
Yeah.
we haven't done the show since they rolled through the Supers against Tennessee and then opened with LSU. And then Gage Wood did what he did. So
Mm.
now, as we stand tonight, 6 o'clock, no chance of storms. I've looked at the forecast. LSU stands in the
Hmm.
way. They got to win two. Is it doable?
I think it is mainly because of what Arkansas was able to do with their bullpen over the last couple days, and AKA not use them. The pitching that Arkansas has gotten since Wood was taken out of Game One has been, excuse me, Root was taken out of Game One has been unreal. Uh, Gabe Gackle saved the bullpen for the entire tournament by what he did coming in relief of Root in that loss to LSU. Obviously, I mean we could sit here for 45 minutes talk about what Gage Wood did against Murray State, and then come back last night and Root comes in, looks like he's about to implode in the first inning. UCLA for whatever reason tries to steal home, run themselves out of an inning, and all of a sudden Arkansas's bullpen just shoves it, and it was completely irrelevant by the time McIntyre came in the seventh. They had a couple of errors, and obviously the leadoff triple. But so Arkansas essentially has everybody at their disposal, likely including Gackle. Because it's been 4 days since he's last thrown. You
Yeah.
believe it's going to be Vital Sheese tonight for Arkansas, at least to start things off. But I mean, they can go in so many different directions. It is truly a embarrassment of riches for Arkansas in that bullpen.
No question about it. And the thing to remember, I mean, it is still an elimination game. All
Hmm.
hands on deck. You got to do whatever you can to win this game, and then you'll deal with tomorrow. And that's the attitude you got to have
Right.
in Omaha. But yeah, the no hitter, obviously not using the bullpen. And the fact that you knew, I mean, it got dicey at the end. You knew McIntyre was going to have to finish it because they were not going to
Hmm.
burn a pitcher for that. And Dave did not look happy at all,
Yeah.
understandably. But in a way, I don't know. I mean, it's ball, they're there. That's what they do. But the fact
Hmm.
that UCLA came back maybe brought him down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was actually thinking that exact same thing last night. I was like, it's probably good Arkansas gave up a run in that ninth inning, so they don't have that. We've got a streak of 19 consecutive innings without giving up a run in their mind, so they don't have to worry about that aspect. I mean, realistically, you look at what Arkansas, yeah, the two errors last night in the ninth inning. That's very uncharacteristic of this team. Uh, they haven't been hit at all. Even LSU, I mean, that you think about that big inning, you got two walks, which obviously are self-inflicted wounds, a bunt single, and a bloop, and that's it. That's all LSU was able to muster against Arkansas in that contest, especially in that three-run inning. So, like, I mean, all you have to do is roll the ball out there, and you feel pretty good about yourself if the offense plays. It didn't matter, how poorly you pitched in that first game against LSU. You score one run, you're not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of seem like Arkansas's offense has settled in, and Aloy obviously what he did last night was just destroyed baseballs to the opposite field. You feel like they're starting to wake up a little bit, and all it takes is one big inning from those guys, and your pitching has a whole lot more room for error.
It's interesting. Okay, it's LSU, it's Arkansas. These two teams know
Mm-hmm.
each other. They got the books on each other. Do Do you expect it to be a slugfest tonight, or is it going to be a very tight game where maybe 2 runs is all it takes?
No, I think it's going to take five minimum to win it. I mean, these are. I mean, you're talking about probably two of the top. I know that the top six seeds, but I mean,
Hmm.
realistically, looking at their rosters, two of the top five teams in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively, then they may be two of the top three. I mean, there's going to be runs to be had. LSU doesn't have as much rest as they probably would like. Obviously, having to come back and play on Tuesday morning to finish that game against UCLA. But I mean, I'm a firm believer, especially with today's offenses, and as hard as pitchers throw, there's going to be mistakes made just because you're going to run into a barrel every now and then. It's going to take at least five to win every game from here on out.
Pitching obviously is key. I think you got to be clean defensively
Mm-hmm.
because now
Yes.
you're at the point where an error is going to be the difference between winning and losing.
No doubt. I mean, you look at it last night. If you don't throw on those couple insurance runs in the eighth inning, how interesting did last night get? Instead of being 5-0, it's 7-0. And say if it was you don't get those two extra runs, and then you give up three unearned runs in that ninth inning, yeah, it could have got real dicey. So like you got to play clean. It's those self-inflicted wounds, Blair. And you and I have talked about this. It doesn't matter if
Hmm.
it's game one or game 65 or whatever it is right now for Arkansas. If you give good teams extra opportunities, they're going to make you pay, and that's with walks, hit batters, or errors.
Yes, no question about it. It's the state is hanging off on a thread tonight. Everybody in Arkansas
Yeah.
is going to be nuts. All right, I'm not sure what I've got for the next topic. Okay, we got to talk about the no hitter because everybody else in their dog has. I think this is the only show that he's not appeared on in the last 48 hours. Um,
Yeah.
wow, I got to admit, I did not realize till they put up all the graphics trying to jinx him that he was deal. I knew he was dealing, but I had no idea he
Hmm.
had a perfect game going.
Yeah, I kind of realized it through I guess it was, they ended the fourth. They flashed up the line score, and I was like, oh, he hasn't given up a hit yet. And then
Hmm.
I got to thinking, it's like, they don't have a base runner yet. Uh,
Really?
it was impressive. And honestly, and this probably goes in line with how I feel about the rest of the season and Dave Van Horn in the postseason. I was impressed that Dave Van Horn let him go
Yeah.
because that is a perfect situation where Dave goes and gets him after 7 innings, like, hey, you've done your job. At least he let him try to get it done. And obviously, it being a 3-run lead instead of a 1-0 game probably
Hmm.
had something to do with that. Give him a little bit longer leash. But it was impressive and refreshing to see. Hey, just get out of the way and let the guy go do his thing.
Yeah, because the temptation is there. Let's pull him because we might need him in a couple days
Correct.
and whatnot. But the how about the interview right afterwards? He's he's mad. I shouldn't
Yeah,
have
but he
hit
hit
the
him.
guy. That was
Yeah,
epic.
yeah. I mean, he just overcooked the curveball, and I mean, literally catches the back foot. I mean, an inch away from a perfect game.
And he
It's
knew
wild
it.
how close it is, and he knew it. Uh,
Yeah.
but only bad pitching through the entire game. That's what's crazy. Like
Oh
normally you're
yeah.
going to leave one of those over the middle of the plate, and somebody they bleeded in the right field for a single. I mean, you can count on one hand the number of balls that were hit. And it wasn't. I mean, you might not need more than two or three fingers. I was worried that last at bat, obviously against the leadoff guy for Murray State, who's just been killing the baseball all
Hmm.
tournament long. I mean, he still made him look silly, even his fourth time through the lineup. But it shows, and obviously that they went through a regional and a super regional against teams that can throw. But 97, 98, top of the zone is different than 92 down the heart of the plate. Velocity is king in baseball in general, especially in college baseball right now. And Murray State just had no chance of catching up.
Yeah, and he was still hitting that in the
Mm-hmm.
ninth, which is
Yep.
insane. But I love the fact he went over and talked to his guy from his
Yeah.
fellow Batesville guy, and I mean that was just class, just
Mm-hmm.
total class. But it was so funny that interview because that reporter, after he said that, she didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was just
they're going.
epic.
We're gonna have to coach up Gage Wood on how to do an interview. I watched a couple of them, even the McAfee show.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to work on the interview skills, and they interviewed him last night, of course, in the game against
Mm-hmm.
UCLA. We're gonna have to work on the interview skills a little bit, but hey, you go out there and throw a no hitter. We can worry about the interviews later.
Yeah, you can do whatever. So that got me thinking. What is Where does this rank in terms of
Oh,
greatest performance by a Razorback?
because of the stage, this elevates it to the top. Has to. You can talk about Darren McFadden's game against South Carolina.
Yeah.
You can talk about Al Dillard's 15 threes or whatever.
Yeah,
But just
against
because of
Delaware
this,
State.
yeah, this essentially, and I like to use this comparison. This essentially happened in the Final Four. I think that, to
Mm-hmm.
me, the College World Series in baseball is equivalent to the Final Four in basketball.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, Scotty Thurman hit a great shot. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas and Corliss Williamson played a great game, but this guy went out there and did it by himself. This is equivalent to scoring 50 in the Final Four for a championship game. It's to me, it's got to be one, if not 1A. I don't. I off the top of my head, and all we're thinking about the last 24 hours, I don't know that there's a better performance because of the stage it was completed on. That something was better.
Yeah, the only things I could come up with, obviously the McFadden game in '07, because ESPN Game Day was there, and that's basically
Yeah,
that was the game that put him on the Heisman level, 321 yards
right.
rushing, and he also threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah,
Mike Conley in '85 at the NCAA Outdoor Championship, but that's over the course of days. Won the long
hmm
triple jump, runner up in the 200 meters, and was also a member of the 4x100 meter relay team. Um, Scotty Thurman's 28 points against Arizona as a freshman. They were ranked 9.
hmm
That came out of nowhere, but that was like third game of the season. See, that's the
yeah,
thing. It's like performance versus moments. Because you mentioned Dillard, that was almost a
yeah.
moment
Let's get to what
more than
Delaware
a
State. Yeah,
performance. Yeah, the tube
yeah,
slam was a moment, not a performance. Um,
yeah.
and the only other one I could recall, and I was there, was 2002. Shamika Kristen scoring 40 against Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament. She scores 28 in the second half and gets fouled out on just an absolutely horrible call. That was probably the most dominating performance
hmm
I can recall besides McFadden. But yeah, I'm with you. I think this may be it. I mean, this may top
Yeah.
McFadden, which in Arkansas is, I mean, you doesn't get any bigger than that.
Yeah, and you've seen the meme floating around already 1,000 times. You remember Darren McFadden holding the baseball bat saying, "I got
Yep.
that wood." Now Gage Wood is that guy.
Yeah. I mean, that is just unbelievable. And the sad thing, in a sense, is now with NIL, he's really not going to be able to cash in on it because he's going to be gone in the
Like,
draft in a few days.
yeah, well, I mean, he was already a probably mid to late first round pick anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, yes, and I'm not saying this to diminish the accomplishment at all,
Yeah.
but it still was Murray State. It was he didn't know SU or Tennessee or Louisville, but a no hitter on that stage that means that you're not afraid of the moment. Somebody's about to pay that man some money.
Oh,
And
yeah.
NIL
No
be
doubt.
damned. Yeah, I'm sure you can make a lot of money in college, but like this guy's about to get life changing money from a Major League Baseball team.
Yes. Yes. And just the fact that he knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And he still went out there. I mean, it's like I've used the analogy in golf. When you've got a 3 foot putt to shoot the best round of your life, you end up knocking it off the green because you know it's just
Yeah.
the human nature of it. And yet he knew he had that, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
he didn't even show it. It's nuts.
So what would you do? This may be a topic you have on later on the list. I haven't seen the rundown for today. What would you
Yeah.
do if you had a 65 footer for $4.5 million? I'd hit it to the next fairway. I
Oh
certainly
yeah.
wouldn't roll it in and win.
Oh yeah. Totally. Oh, like the golf. I mean, literally, I had a three
Yeah,
foot putt to shoot the round of my life, and I damn near put it off the green because it's just
yeah.
you get in your own head. So crazy. All
Hmm.
right. Quickly touching on the hockey, which I don't think anybody in Arkansas watched last night. Panthers
Yeah.
go back to back, 19th team. Missed the great tradition of skating the cup, but I mean, it was an entertaining series. But it's kind of wild to think a team from the Sun Belt of America
Yeah.
is winning
Yeah.
the hockey championship for the fifth time in 6 years.
Yeah, it is crazy, but between them and Tampa, what's going on in hockey in the state of Florida is unreal. But honestly, like the series was disappointing because Edmonton fell flat on their face the last two games. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and, I think I made the statement to you a couple weeks ago, and whenever I guess 2 weeks ago, it's like this is the time. It's now or never for Edmonton. I mean, Connor McDavid's supposed to be the best player in the world, and they come out and get routed in games 5 and 6 and obviously game five was at home. And so, I mean, it's just, obviously goaltending matters, making big plays matter. But, Florida obviously did both of those things. But I was really disappointed with how the series ended. Games 1 through 4 were great. But, 5 and 6 just left a lot to be desired. And it's kind of like, you've got a great game going into the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Something's flying over my head here.
Oh
You got
my.
a great game going in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, somebody scores 3 touchdowns. You're like, oh, well, that was anticlimactic. That's kind of how this
Yeah.
series felt.
Yeah. What'd you think of the TNT coverage? I
I,
thought they
I
did a
thought he
really
did a
good
really good
job.
job. Yeah. Obviously, I thought the NBC coverage was great. Obviously, the play-by-play that they used to have, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, Mike
Um,
Emmerich,
yeah, Emmerich
one of the all-time best.
was fantastic. But I mean, honestly, this new crew did a really, really good job. And I understand what they're trying to do with the intermission report. They're trying to make it more like inside the NBA, adding personalities with Wayne Gretzky, etc. But I thought they did a pretty solid job. And the play-by-play was really good. And
Yeah.
to me, play-by-play in hockey matters more than any other sport
Oh,
because even though you don't have to describe everything, there's no chance the average person has a clue who has the puck, and they do a really good job of letting you know who has possession without talking too much, but also having to talk a lot.
yeah. Kenny Albert was really good. I
Yeah.
really like their crew, and Gretzky's good. I mean,
Hmm.
it's one thing to be the greatest player in your sports history, but and not always are those guys good analysts, but Gretzky's really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's just up there. So yeah, it was good. It was good. All right, we'll move on to the NBA Finals tomorrow night, Game 6. It's gone on for a month. The Thunder are
Hmm.
this close.
Yep.
So Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams could be NBA champions by the time we talk next. Pretty cool to think a couple guys from Northside are this
Hmm.
close to being NBA champions.
Yeah, and we've gotten lucky the last couple of years. There's a bunch of Arkansas kids who've won the NBA championships. Bobby Portis, Moody. Uh, it is to me. It's been a little surprising how well Indiana has played and kept
Mm-hmm.
to the series because you watch game one and Oklahoma City's blowing them out, and all of a sudden Indiana rallies in that fourth quarter is on the road, and it's kind of like that one quarter changed the entire outlook. So I think most people, and myself included, thought Oklahoma City's about to roll through this, maybe five. And now you're seeing Halliburton, who played terrible in Game 5 for Indiana. He's got a hamstring strain or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Might be a calf, but obviously he's limited. You just wonder, do they have enough bullets? Because Oklahoma City is so deep, and that's the one thing that is maybe like the casual fan who doesn't watch a ton of NBA, and I probably fall into that category as well. I mean, they're 9 or 10 deep, and they've
Mm-hmm.
certainly shortened the rotation. And Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, I should say,
Yes. Yeah.
haven't played much, if at all, hardly in this series. And these are guys that played 10 to 15 minutes every game during the regular season and most of the playoffs. But between Shade Gilgis Alexander and Jalen Williams, the other one, and Chet Holmgren, I mean, they just come at you in waves, and defensively they grind you out. Indiana was able to keep pace for the first couple games of the series defensively, but their lack of depth is starting to show, and it's. I think Oklahoma City closes it out in Game 6. As much as I love to see home teams win it,
Mm-hmm.
I think Oklahoma City needs to shut it down now because they're young. They don't need to have that pressure of going back home in a game seven, winner take all.
Yeah, I just don't see how Indiana can win this at all. I mean, with Halliburton and everything, so unless it's rigged, which Adam Silver could be an alien. He kind of looks like one. So I don't know. I would be shocked. What do you think of their coverage? I mean, Mike Breen is solid. Doris Burke, I can't. I mean, she has her moments. I
No,
don't know.
she doesn't.
It's
She
there's
doesn't
no
have her
chemistry.
moments.
There's no chemistry.
Yeah.
Breen's a pro.
To me, ESPN's NBA Finals coverage is very similar to Arkansas's radio coverage, Arkansas Razorbacks radio coverage.
Yeah.
And pick your sport, doesn't matter. Well, I'll take basketball out of that because I don't feel that way about basketball.
Okay.
Really, 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 really good play-by-play person and god awful color. And I mean atrocious.
Yeah.
Just listen. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. But listen to an Arkansas football game or an Arkansas baseball game in the NBA Finals. The color's just not there.
Yeah.
The level of talent is not there.
It's an odd listen. And one thing, when I was in Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago, I was listening to the game on the radio. Their radio crew is a one-person show. They don't have a color guy. Isn't that weird? And he's done it
That is
for
weird.
all 25 years of the franchise. Never had a color person. Because I'm like, my
Yeah.
God, is this guy going to take a breath? Where's the color guy? Because you're so used to it. No, it's just one guy.
Yeah. I mean, I
Really?
get it. I mean, you remember back when when
It's
Chuck
cheap.
did baseball. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheap. There are some announcers who probably prefer to be by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saving money, but I mean, yeah, that's hard to talk that much especially for radio when you have to describe everything that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought that was wild. I was like, okay, who's the color guy? I look it up on Google. No. And I'm like, no wonder I didn't hear anybody. I mean, it's just, wow. Jeff Prosting it, blah, 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 blah. So, wild. So we expect the Thunder to win tomorrow night and be NBA champions. You mentioned the golf. Man, what a finish at Oakmont. JJ Spawn. I mean, birdies the last two holes of perhaps the hardest golf course in the U.S. Open Rota. And the weather's crappy.
Yeah, I alluded to the putt earlier. I mean, I literally would have put that 4 fairways over as hard as I would hit that putt. But right after he hits his approach shot on 18, and granted, he's got 2-stroke lead already or a 1-stroke lead, and all he has to do is 2-putt. And Hovland yanks his approach shot left, and he's like 2 feet right behind Spawn, and gave him a free read. And how important was that, do you think, for Spawn to say, okay, this is the line, this is where I can kind of see how hard I've got to hit it. To me, not obviously making that putt's unreal. That's just, you don't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like just sticking it close, he kind of got a free read at it, and sometimes you got to be lucky. But this was a golf tournament that it almost felt like nobody wanted to win because they just kept giving strokes back and giving strokes back. Whether I really felt for Hatton. I mean, he was in prime contention going into 16, 17, and then he puts it right in the greenside bunker. Got a chance to pitch it up close for an easy birdie, and he chunks it. And then he chunks it again, and then he makes bogey, and then he puts his drive in the woods. I mean, the guy completely fell apart, and he just looked like an absolute train wreck by the time he got to 18.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, that's the U.S. Open is always hard, and then you put it at Oakmont, which is already one of the hardest courses in the world, and the membership wants it hard. I mean, it's unbelievable. But yeah, you mentioned the read he got from Havlin. But still, I mean, again, it's the human element of it. Okay, you know what's at stake. You're a winner on the PGA Tour, but you're not an elite guy. You know this is going to change your life. This is the major. This is what you played for. To keep your emotions in check and just, even be able to make a solid stroke is unbelievable.
I mean, just to put it within 10 feet from that far out, with just those kind of emotions going through. I mean, professional athletes are compared to robots a lot because they just go through the motions and like that. It feels like nothing affects them. Prime example. I mean, to be able to tune out the fact that, hey, I I've got $5 million in my next two putts, and he rolls it in from 63 feet. That's
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this your life is changed. Good, bad, and different. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just but the great thing is he won the tournament. He didn't backdoor in.
Yes.
He went out and won it despite being what? He bogeyed the first four holes or something on the final round. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just unbelievable
Yeah.
perseverance.
There was a couple golfers in the field though that made us all feel better about our own golf game though.
Yeah. What's going on with Rory?
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
kind of
the emotional high. I mean, and we saw the emotions after he won at Augusta. It takes its toll. I mean, when you grind and grind and grind,
yeah.
sometimes I mean, we never saw Tiger completely fall apart, but at some point you got to take a little mental break, and especially
Yeah.
as emotional of a toll as it took on him. It might be in you line about his life. Maybe it's time to step away for 6 months. Get through this final major and don't play again until Augusta next year.
Yeah. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah. I'm with you there. All right. NFL. Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Steelers
Mm-hmm.
and hasn't done anything crazy yet, though it's good for the soul.
Yeah.
Um, were you surprised it took this long? Because,
Yes.
I mean, it was like there was no other option.
Yeah. To me, as calm and as patient as Pittsburgh was, it probably said, "Hey, we've got an agreement in place. You do what you need to do." And I mean, it's come out that he got married over the summer, and so maybe he had some stuff planned with the new wife that allegedly exists. But it does make you believe that there was some kind of agreement. It's like, "Hey, I'm going to sign. We're just going to wait till X number of date." So I don't, I'm not know whatever, etc. Yeah, I was surprised that it took this long, but I felt like both of them knew it was going to happen.
I was surprised it was just a 1 year deal.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, he
Really?
didn't. With the way he played last year, I don't know that you can commit multiple years to him
Yeah.
because he wasn't
Maybe
very
that's,
good.
well, no, but maybe that's where the Steelers use their leverage. And of course, how ironic, who the Steelers open with,
Hmm.
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, the NFL's not dumb. When they made that schedule, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they totally had to. Was there any other news going on in the league? I mean, granted, camps are going. Um,
Hmm.
it's been kind of quiet.
I think it's just, yeah, I think it's the Trey Hendrickson story in Cincinnati is probably the
Yeah,
biggest one that's going on
that's
right
getting
now.
ugly.
Uh, Micah Parsons didn't hold out, but like, okay, like what's going to happen there? T.J. Watt probably at Pittsburgh. I think that got kind of dwarfed by the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Um, I don't know if you want to mess around and somebody, I don't know if T.J. Watt's that guy.
Mm,
Hendrickson
yeah,
obviously has been very good the last couple of years, but T.J. Watt's been a game. Um,
yeah.
it, I'm sitting here every time he's mentioned on television. I'm sitting here screaming at the television like, "Patriots, trade for the guy, whatever it takes. You got the caps, sitting next year's first round pick over there. I don't care because I mean he's that type of player."
Yeah, I think. I mean, if you're the Bengals, you have no this guy is the only thing you have on defense. You got to sign him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do they
Yeah,
have the
have to.
money?
I mean, you got nothing left. Well, and then you add all the drama with their draft pick, Shamar Stewart, who hasn't signed because of some clause. And I
Yeah,
mean,
the
it almost
waiver.
seems like Cincinnati's just come with defensive players. So we don't need them. We're going to score 100.
Well, and if you're Joe Burrow, you've got to kind of be wondering what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. It's
Why am I
wild.
locked into
Doesn't make any
this?
sense.
Crazy. All right, we're about to count down the final 10 seconds, so I will give you the final word, Mr. Swofford.
Blair, it's been a pleasure catching up with you, and I think I'm almost off to the beach with a Yeti in my